to work or not to work during a Kundalini awakening, rising, a spiritual awakening, to change jobs or not to change jobs, or what to do as far as a means of paying your bills is concerned. Do you have to suddenly adopt a spiritual profession? Does it have to be one as a healer, an empath, a life coach, everything to do with wellness, health, well-being, to do with lifting somebody's spirits, becoming a spiritual awakening guide? I mean, there are so many ways in which you might feel that you are now called upon. Now, it's very natural and normal for all of us to go through that feeling that there is more, that there must be more that I am here for. And that more that we feel that we are here for is that we are here for the more of us, the more of the self-discovery. But that self-discovery doesn't always amount to you changing your profession, although it might be if it is necessary at that point in time. And it is nothing to say that you've only got to go and work as a spiritual teacher, guide, healer. You can do absolutely anything and everything. And if anything, when your consciousness is expanded and you are spiritually awake, it is now when that sort of awakened consciousness is needed in other parts of life. It is needed in normal professions. It's needed in office jobs. It's needed in all these other places. So it's not a case of, right, so let's all come out of this other bubble and we step into this other bubble. So we will stay in this bubble and they will stay in that bubble. As long as we have that dichotomy in the way that we are spiritually awakening, then it'll always be them and you, the others and you. There won't be any non-duality. There has to be non-duality. You come to a point, it eventually does come into that point where there is no difference, where whatever you are doing, when you suddenly become that which you're doing, and you can then put everything into that which you're doing as your devotion. It could be anything. It could be you now working, say for example, you're working as a nurse, or you're working in an office, you have a 9-to-5 job. Maybe you are answering phone calls. Maybe you're a receptionist. Maybe you're a beautician. You could be doing all sorts of jobs, a teacher. But with that kind of wisdom that you have and you're awakening, just imagine the kind of changes that you have within the reach of you to bring into all of these places where we need policies to change in governments, where we need big changes to happen. Now imagine if we have enough of the spiritually awakened people in these places where we need certain things to change. I mean, legislation to change, for example, right? To be part of that system in order for it to be uplifted, to be changed. So you walk with that. So it is not that you suddenly come out of this life and you suddenly start doing other things. Yes, for a while you might. But when you're fully integrated into your awakened state of being, you can do pretty much everything that translates into an expression of the joy that you are, an expression of that expanded consciousness, of your freedom. So the freedom that you carry within is the freedom that is going to be felt by all around you. And that freedom can only be accessed by those around you when we, as those that are spiritually awakening or awakened, we allow that space to others. Not through judgment, but through compassion. Through compassion. And when I say through compassion, it doesn't mean that you just sit and, okay, let things be as they are. Sometimes through compassion also means through loving assertion, where you've got to be lovingly assertive. But you're not assertive in a way that is damaging. You're assertive in a way that is uplifting. You're assertive in a way that's going to call for certain things to be put into place that are reflective of an expanded way of being. For example, you could be somebody who works with special needs children. Now, when you are spiritually awakening, and you've got that kind of wisdom coming through you in that kind of an environment, imagine the kind of changes that you can make. So it's not a question of you just saying, well, look at the system isn't doing anything. You hold the key to make that change. You, as somebody who's awakened, you don't have to just sit there and then we're just casting this kind of judgment or view on what is happening out there, but we can actually go and change it. We can change it. We can do so much, folks. So it is not necessary that just because you're going through all of this, that suddenly we no longer have to be in certain professions, because every profession is still open. Every profession. It is you. What are your belief systems? Have you let go of everything? How free are you? And also remember that when you are expanding your consciousness and then you've come to a point of you're living through your infinite being, you're living through that infinite connection, things simply flow to you. You're not chasing. So it's not that, oh, well, how will my bills get paid? How will I survive? Because even that has to be done. But you see that the beauty is that in a spiritually awakened state, you no longer have those kind of concerns. You've let go. You let go. And your concerns, if any, are very different. They are mainly to do with you looking at yourself. How are you developing? Yeah, and you are experiencing more and more of yourself. So it is not that you're looking to change anything on the outside. It's not that you're looking around and thinking, oh, that pothole needs to be covered. But you actually, on the other hand, will go get the tarmac or the tar that's needed and go and cover that pothole. Right? So it's not about you waiting for the change to happen on the outside or waiting for other people to do things, but you yourself are moving and making things happen without you having to calculate. There's nothing. It comes to you, folks. So when you're in that place of abundance, when you're in that place of awakened sense of self, you are not going to be chasing after survival. You're not going to be chasing after how am I going to survive. Things are going to come to you. And when they come to you, they can come in so many forms. You could have an opportunity knocking at your door right now. You could have someone who wants to do something, or, certain opportunities that are there for you, but you might think, oh, but they're not spiritually enough for me. They're not spiritual. I don't really want to be doing anything. Now that I've had an awakening, I just want to be a spiritual teacher and that's it. No, you don't have to, folks. You might have become or enabled your healing abilities, and you think, why you're a healer? Well, you can go and heal in a workplace. You can go and heal in a place that isn't, it isn't obviously doing something. In fact, if anything, for those of you who are now holding a spiritually awakened state, what you'll find is, if anything, you're not going into temples, or you're not going into churches, you're not going into any organized forms of spirituality, right? But you're actually quite away from this and living very normal Joe Blog lives and living lives engaged with everything. It's not that you've got to sort of don a particular outfit, you've got to be in a particular way or look in a particular way, or, sort of have all of these malas around you. We went through all of that. Yeah, you can go through all of that. I mean, the biggest thing in a spiritually awakened state is you're authentic. You're so authentic. And in that authenticity, you hold this beautiful lightness of being. When you hold that lightness of being, you can be lying on bed all day, right? Maybe that's the place that's chosen for you. Maybe that's where you are to operate from. Because remember, even when it appears that you're doing nothing and you think you are feeling really frustrated, well, so what's my job? So what's my designation? Well, that's your designation. You're doing it. You're already in that designation wherever you are. But when we build resistance to wherever we are at the moment, including possible job opportunities, so you might be somebody who's a prolific writer and you get a writing opportunity in a newspaper or in an article, or, you're asked to do something, or maybe you're a good orator and you're asked to speak at something, or you're maybe a good cook and you're asked to cook, but cooking is not something that you do and you think, well, no, it's not spiritual for me, right? So as soon as we let go of all these things, folk, remember, you don't have to go and work in those sort of, jobs that we think, oh, well, I'm an empath now, and so therefore I'm going to read this or I'm going to be doing that. Not necessary at all, folks. With that, as always, sending you so much love. And remember, guys, a lot of you, for whatever reason, didn't realize that I do offer one-to-one sessions. They are not so many, but they are there. It's as and when, really. But I don't encourage it. I always say to you that, look, you have it in you. You have it in you to wake yourself up, not just to wake yourself up, but to stay in that state. You have it in you to be aware of wherever you are. So you don't need that. But if at all you ever wish to, I am there. You've got my details on my website. So, feel free. But at the end of the day, no matter how many times you're in touch with me or how many times we have sessions together, it's going to be down to you, right? It's going to be down to you. So you might as well save that for yourself, invest it in yourself, and simply become more and more aware of everything, folks, of everything. You embrace it. One last thing. When I was talking to a friend today and I said, oh, okay, see you later. And I said to her, life is so beautiful. It's so good. It's so good. And, she said to me, yeah, when it works, it's really good. And I said, no. You see, I said, that's where we all go wrong. You think, well, when it's working, it's good, because the thing is, even when things seem not to be working, it's always working. It's always life. That's the thing. Fall in love with just life, not the good and the bad, but life. And when you fall in love with life, you fall in love with yourself. You fall in love with yourself. Love comes to you. Love is all around. As always, so much love. Take care.